Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chuck Norris.
Sure. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever the season might be for you guys. We didn't do this last year because last year we got spoiled with a Batman Christmas special.
Yes, we did.
So this year we're doing our own Christmas special. And what does that mean? We're just going to sit around and talk about Batman and Christmas. That's basically it.
Yeah, Christmas-ish cartoons and things. Even though it did occur to me after we came up with this idea that if Die Hard is considered a Christmas movie, then Batman Returns is a Christmas movie.
1,000% is. It starts like the whole basis of the movie is around like Christmas, and by the same logic, Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Batman is a Halloween movie. Well, also by that logic, so is Batman Forever.
That's true.
It takes place at one point. So yeah, we can go down this rabbit hole all day. You really can. But we are recording this well in advance. Because, as you guys may have seen on social media already, and I know you did if you're following us because I put it there. And if you're not, follow us. We're pre-banking some stuff and taking some time off for the holidays. We still wanted to celebrate with you guys a little bit. We are recording this as of now. It is 4 p.m. and on Monday, November 25th. So as of right now, the Superman trailer hasn't dropped, and we haven't seen Creature Commandos yet. But all that being said,
if it does, there will be a separate thing for that.
On its own, eventually we get to it when we get to it, but it might be in the past for now. Right now, we're talking about Christmas, and I guess I figured the best way to get into this is like, was there ever like a Batman gift you got on Christmas that like just lives rent free in your head as a memory?
Not particularly, but you also have to remember that when that would have occurred, there was no Batman stuff.
Oh, that's true. You're old. That's right. That's right. When Matt was getting Christmas gifts, at that point, they were just wooden horses and balls and cups. They weren't really.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the one of the best gifts I ever got that I recall was a Mr. Robot. And it was one of those things like I remember as a kid being so excited about.
You didn't have Batman, but you had the Rami Malek show? Okay.
No, not even that good. It was basically just like this clear plastic robot.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
And it would just walk and like.
I know. Yeah. I remember my grandparents' house, dude. They had a lot of that shit growing up.
Yeah. And a little track, the little race car track, the electric ones.
Oh, with the little gun on it, you just squeeze the. Had that.
And they were 79 Trans Ams, the two cars. Like that's how far back that goes.
Yep. And don't you touch it, or else you will get zapped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about like as you got older? Like were there things you started to get as you got older? Like just like Christmas Batman stuff on Christmas that sits true with you in some way?
I think, does Nightwing count?
Yeah, that counts.
Okay. That was a Christmas present I got in my 20s from, unfortunately, my ex now, but at the time, my girlfriend. And as weird as that relationship was, she was always amazing at gifts. And getting me that Nightwing statue was one of those random things that opening up on Christmas, like no concept of my mind that she was even aware it was my thing. And just like, oh, cool, this is awesome. So was it Christmas?
It's always nice to have one of those in your life. I'm terrible at gift getting, and I'm also terrible at like whenever my mom asks me like, do you want something? And it's like, Mom, I'm a grown man with access to adult money.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. I mean, for me, it was always like, like anytime there was like a Batmobile or a Bat plane or something like that. And also because my birthday is like 10 days after Christmas.
Yeah.
So usually it was like big stuff like that, or like we talked about in our Batman collectibles episode, the Batcave.
Yeah.
The Batcave, I had the Batcave. So like stuff like that was like, big stuff like that, especially growing up in not a lot of money in the house. It was like, put that on your birthday Christmas list and we'll see kind of thing. So like, the Batcave play set, the Batman Beyond Batmobile. I mean, that thing was huge. It was massive. I had the one from Batman the Animated Series. I had the Bat plane, not like the giant one, but the one with like the little one. I had a bunch. Batman's always been my guy. I have some of those, not a lot of them anymore, but like, every year, especially when Batman toys when Batman the Animated Series was at its hottest.
Yeah.
And there was a different Batman figure every week, never a regular Batman, but always like laser net jet engine Batman.
Yeah. Slalom Batman. Was Batmite.
Anyway, it was like, okay, what kind of different version of Batman could Batmite come up with this week?
Yeah.
Cool. There's an action figure for it. So any of those. Yeah.
But what is something you've bought as an adult for yourself that's Batman related that you're just like, yes?
Well, honestly, like the McFarlane, the boys behind me, these guys, obviously, that was great. Obviously recency bias, but like, the Batman, the Animated Series, mask thing over here. But like some of my favorite Batman things I've ever gotten, are, and again, we talked about, that were like a gift, were like, we talked about this, in our collectibles episode, but those like razor edged batarangs I have, those were a gift. So yeah, man, definitely always stuff like that was always, but the one that I think definitely will always just is that Batcave Wayne Manor fold out playset, baby. That thing was choice.
No, I would say back when I was cosplaying Batman, one of the only pieces I still have is the cape. Because that cape is fucking amazing. And you know me, I don't curse on this show. And it's the right kind of material that if you just put it on and walk, it just does it billows.
Oh, yes.
And I always tell people, I'm like, here, you want to try it on? And they're like, I'm like, trust me. And I remember this one friend of ours, the girl takes care of my kids sometimes. She's short. And I put it on her and she's like, but it's too long. And I'm like, trust me, just walk. And she just kind of walked down the hall. And then like our house is like, you walk down the hall and you can go through the kitchen and come around. Yeah. And as she's coming around, she's like,
the power
just billowing behind her. It's like, that is, look, nothing's cooler than a cape that flows correctly. When you get those cheap ones from like the costume shop, it's not the same. Like they're there.
Well, also,
flow is awesome.
Part of wearing a cape, you have to know how to wear a cape too.
Yes.
Some people don't know how to wear capes. One of the things I always give props to Giancarlo Esposito is when he's Moff Gideon, that dude knows how to wear a cape. Because when he turns in his cape, the cape turns with him flawlessly. Ben Mendelsohn does the same thing when he wears the cape in Rogue One. It's like, good cape work. Yes. But back to Batman and Christmas. I will say, truthfully, I think the first episode of Batman the Animated Series that I really remember like seeing was Christmas with the Joker, which is the one where Joker takes over a TV station and Robin's giving Bruce a bunch of crap about having never seen It's a Wonderful Life. They go out on patrol and he keeps seeing all the worst in these things, and it's really just good things happening. And it's I think because I remember that was the episode that made me make my mom teach me how to program the VCR, because I remember recording that episode when it re-aired and watching it to death. I loved that episode. It's such a good Batman Joker episode, but it's also a really good Christmas story.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of learns a lesson about Christmas.
Yeah. And especially like that first season of that show where like Robin would come in occasionally. And every time he was there
for Christmas break or something like that. Yeah.
So every time he was there, it was a banger of an episode. And he would always do cool stuff, because I think what that show did right, which helped, was age up Dick Grayson Robin.
Yeah,
like he's a 20-something, I dare say.
Well, he hasn't finished college yet, because him graduating college is what leads to him quitting later. In that story arc, when he quits, it's after he graduates. It's within the same week that he graduates college. So he's in college right now. Well, we know that because we go see him at the dorm and stuff like that. So
but it also is it changes the annoying little child who's trying to get you to get into Christmas, and your buddy is like, come on, man. Like there's so I always thought that was cool that they aged him up, as much as, like, of course at the time I was closer to that age.
Right.
So it was like, but no, I did like that episode. It was kind of funny because you reminded me of it, and I was like, have I seen this? And I went back and watched some clips. I'm like, oh yes. Yes. Always nice when Mark Hamill comes in as Joker and does the random bah humbug.
It was also just, it's one of those episodes where it's like, that's an episode where having watched it like as an adult, and now that I'm able to like really appreciate it more for what it is, like that's an episode where, just because it's Christmas time, Mark Hamill gets to just cook for 20 minutes, like he gets to just play and really just have fun. I think that's one of the first times in that show, looking at this obviously with 2025, but I feel like if I was somebody more aware back then, that would have been one of the moments that made me go, hey, this Mark Hamill's pretty good as Joker. And I also think because it is a Christmas episode, it does give you the opportunity to play with some of the more lighthearted fare that Batman, that sometimes gets overlooked with Batman, especially in this era of Batman. Like, the show was funny, but it wasn't very often that like Batman got to be at the root of some of that humor. And there's lots of moments where Batman gets to be, albeit the butt of the joke, in a non-disrespectful way. He gets a pie to the face, and it's not in bad taste.
Well, it's Robin being there always gives a bit of levity, right into his face more often than not.
Right.
So,
and again, it's Joker. So like, again, you can kind of get away with it, but it's also not the last time we would have a Joker Christmas moment in this continuity, because when we get to the fast forward, the time jump, or whatever we will find it. We will find a clever name for it at some point. But one of the first
fourth season,
no shit. One of the first episodes in that redesign is a like 3-part like Christmas anthology, with Clayface and Batgirl, which is super cool. And then there's the one with Robin and Batman and Joker. There's a third one I'm blanking on what the other storyline is.
Nightwing and Batgirl, I believe, or it's Nightwing and somebody.
Well, I know there's one because it ends with Batman going and getting coffee with Gordon. I had it in my head, and now it is gone. Yeah,
I think what it is one of them is Batgirl and Clayface. One of them is Batman and Batgirl and Clayface. One of them is Batman. Oh, the other one is Poison Ivy and.
Oh yeah, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, and they brainwash Bruce Wayne and take him shopping.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, I can't believe I forgot it, because I think about that. I forgot that was part of that anthology. I thought that was part of a separate episode, I think, because I love that story arc. Yeah, I love that story. It's so funny, and it's like the one that always cracks me up is when he falls down the elevator shaft, and Harley just goes, "Aw, we were gonna kill him anyway."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's right, because the thing that I always cracked up about is like, it's obvious this is not the first episode of that season.
Yeah.
Because then the next episode is Robin's origin.
Yeah, that was it confused me as a kid too. And I think it was just because of when the show got around to actually, and we talked about this before, it seems like there was like something going on behind the scenes with this show getting released, because like when it was first marketed, it was marketed like the whole show was going to be this big Batman Superman crossover. And then like that doesn't happen for like the first year. And so this is, and also something to point out, this is in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So like this is at a time where broadcast networks especially are notorious for airing things out of order, regardless of what the production order is for.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that they had every intention of putting them out, and something either wasn't right. I mean, that episode that introduces Tim, I mean, it is a little dark. So it could be because at this point it was shifting to a Saturday morning cartoon. I could see a version of this where maybe they had some trouble getting it past the edit. I don't know.
But. No, so being there, remembering some of this is when it was, even though it's called the New Batman Adventures, it was on as a block. So one day it'd be Batman, one day it'd be Superman.
I know that, but like, they marketed it poorly. When they did, they made it seem like the whole thing was, because I mean, it would always open with that shot of Batman and Superman facing each other.
Yeah.
And like, that doesn't happen for a year.
Well, and it's also funny too, because it's like on the DVD set.
Yeah.
That is in the Superman show. That is not on the Batman DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like, oh yeah, no. So it is odd because
so weird.
Because even on the DVDs, Holiday Nights is the first one.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. Is I think that was what they opened the season with. Because I remember going into that show not knowing. Because remember, at this point, I'm young enough that I don't know who Tim Drake is. This is my introduction to Tim Drake.
Yeah,
and so I remember going into the like, man, they made Robin seem really young. Wait, why is Robin a child? I'm confused. And it's not until the next episode that you realize what's going on. And so as a kid, I was confused as hell.
Yeah.
As an adult, I get it now, but like as a kid, I was confused.
Yeah. I think I realize that, but of course I'm like in my 20s by this point.
Yeah.
But it was also because Tim Drake had just recently been introduced into the comics.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that this version of Tim is an amalgamation of Tim and Jason. So it's not like I even really. So anyway.
But no, it's a great episode. I love that. The ending of Batman and Gordon having the coffee together is amazing.
That end scene is half the reason you watch the episode, is just to get to that ending and the, someday I'll finally beat him to the check. And because that is one of the most quintessential Gordon and Batman things, is that at the end of the day, the two of them are just like, when you think about like Bad Boys, like two partners that have just been doing this together for way too damn long and are just tired, and this is their one night a year where they can just be bros for 5 minutes. It gives shades of like the two of them sharing a drink at the beginning of like The Dark Knight Returns and Frank Miller. It's stuff like that. It's stuff that's actually it's in the current run of Batman, because we're coming off this stretch where Bruce was filling in as Nightwing in Bloodhaven, and Jim Gordon was filling in as Batman in Gotham. It was actually kind of cool, and is now working as like a PI that works with Batman. It's cool shit going on, but at the end of the day, Jim Gordon's always been kind of like the OG Robin in that way, kind of. So it's getting them getting to have that moment, the two of them just sharing a cup of coffee at the diner at the end is why you watch the episode.
And for the days where a bunch of change would pay for 2 cups of coffee.
Shut up. Bless it. What's another one, man? What's another like Batman DC Christmas thing? Like, when I throw those words out there, what comes to mind?
It was kind of funny because I looked up some episodes, and there's one that it lists a bullet for bullet, but I don't remember that being a Christmas themed one. I don't know. I was just like reading. I read the thing about it.
Really?
I was like, this is not Christmas. But the one that we've talked about it in the past.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's the Comfort and Joy from Justice League.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean,
it's such a good. It's so good. We talked about that episode several times. I think we talked when we did our like best of Justice League episode. I think we talked about it.
Which is weird because now that I think about it, I don't think Batman's in that episode. For a second, maybe I'll do the Watchtower, something like that. I know.
Oh my god, I don't think he actually now.
He isn't. Now that I think about it.
You keep talking while I look that up. Since you brought it up.
No, because you follow Flash as he goes against the Ultra Humanite. You follow Green Lantern and Hawkgirl when they go off to the planet and have the bar battle in space.
Right.
And then you have Superman and Martian Manhunter, and they go back to Clark Kent's house. So I don't even think Wonder Woman's in the episode. So, but it's a DC show. We can splinter off the DC.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, no, we're talking about everything here. I mean, also there's only so many things Batman and
but no.
Batman and Wonder Woman do not appear, but Superman remarks that Batman chose to spend the holiday on monitor duty in the Watchtower. Okay, got it. So so literally he was like, I'm just gonna,
And I'm sure, given the subplot of some of those episodes, I'm positive Wonder Woman was there with him.
Because there's no indication given as to where she is. So that's.
Do you remember that the Superman Batman apocalypse when they keep sending Supergirl to the Amazonians to get trained? Yeah. There's a part where like Superman and Supergirl leave, and I remember my wife's like, "Hey Batman, why are you staying back there?
Why didn't you leave, Batman?
Yeah, why did you leave?
Why are you hesitating, buddy?" No, Comfort and Joy is. I mean, again, you talk about like moments at the end you wait for. Martian Manhunter singing Christmas Eve is just especially when that's Carl Lumbly, and I don't know if that's actually him singing or not, and I love Carl Lumbly and I can't wait to see what he's doing in the new Captain America, but like Flash and the Ultra Humanite. Oh my god, it's so good, man.
It rebuilds the toy and it's his voice doing the Christmas song or the Christmas book. You're just like, this is hilarious.
Was it the Nutcracker?
Yeah, it's
was it the Nutcracker?
Yeah,
because because Ultra Humanite sidebar, Ultra Humanite is also in one of my favorite Justice League episodes from the first season when they do the first like Injustice League team up and Luthor is like in the cell next to him and he just keeps torturing him by playing opera super loud.
Yeah.
And he asks, like, he's like, what did Batman give you? Well, like, what did you have to give him to make him betray Luthor? And he's like, he just made a huge donation to PBS in the Ultra Humanite's name to keep watching opera.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Ultra Humanite.
Yeah. Oh my god, that episode is so good. The Green Lantern Hawkgirl thing I think is fun, especially because where that relationship goes.
Well, and especially where it was at that point with the show, like it hadn't, because this isn't just this is when it's still just Justice League. Like we haven't gone to Unlimited yet, and so like, this is before the drama.
No, and I think it's such a like it's. I was thinking about this the other day because we were talking about like when after we had filmed our Absolute special, which should have come out by now. But no, just thinking about like how they've done so many genres in film, like with superheroes. But you know what they've never done in a superhero thing was like a sitcom. Like hasn't been like your standard, like WandaVision
DC hasn't, no.
Picked on it. Like DC had that Powers one, which I don't really count because there's about people behind.
No, that show sucked. It was not. I mean, it wasn't even good by like bad sitcom standards.
I didn't mind it, but it wasn't great. But my point more is like,
you're right. I mean, we haven't had like a, like I think Kite Man's kind of going for that, but it's animated.
Yeah.
I think like Marvel has tried. You're right. They poked at it with WandaVision. Ms. Marvel was funnier than it wasn't, and She-Hulk, they tried to be Ally McBeal, and anyway,
well, I guess my thing is,
you're right. Yeah, but you are right. There hasn't been like an actual like superhero sitcom,
because with Comfort and Joy, there's no action.
Nope.
I mean, the bar fight, I guess, but it's not superhero versus supervillain. It's just the story of these characters and what they're doing for the holidays. And I think that is what makes it just a great show, a great episode, is when you get to spend time with these characters and see what they're like and what they do when they're not like beating the tar out of a bad guy or trying to save the world. And I think it's unfortunate because, when you think of superhero stuff, you want to see those battles. But some of the best episodes are just kind of that, like, watch how they live, watch what they do. You don't get this moment between Flash and Ultra Human Knight watching the kids.
So good.
Listen to his voice. It's just like, come on, man.
It makes me think of, I always have these thoughts, and I'm one of those weird people. I always think, like, what's Vader doing his downtime?
Yeah.
Like, what, like,
yeah, I can't imagine Vader and his little carbonite thing. Like,
yeah, what are the what are the first and last 5 minutes of Darth Vader's day like? You know what I mean? And so you always have that, like, what are the what are the first things that go through, like what is Batman like when he poops? You know what I mean? Like does Batman go to the GI? Does he get his does the Flash get hemorrhoids? Things like that. So like, what would happen if Wonder Woman got diverticulitis? Who's to say?
Yeah.
So like the idea that Clark Kent secretly still believes in Santa Claus.
Yes.
And
you mean Santa?
And Jon Stewart wants nothing more than to just have a snowball fight on a chilly day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we all know Flash is wholesomeness in human form. That's not up for debate. That's always been true. There's a reason he's the only one who gets his own goddamn museum. but yeah, it's to your point. It's always nice when we get to see superheroes being people. Yeah. Say what you will. One of my favorite things about the Snyderverse was when we just got to see Clark and Lois be a mushy romantic couple for a few minutes, make out in the tub, and then he goes and makes eggs. Like, honestly, that's like, he brings home groceries and flowers because his girlfriend had a bad day. Like, seeing them be normal is the best thing ever. We're gonna pause while I think the only thing I really wanted to bring up was just the fact that, like, also, like, for what Christmas means in the DC world is just as being, the anniversary of Nora and Victor Fries, which, in one of my favorite moments in a totally, like, not even, it depends on your definition of canon, but in a, in a companion comic to the animated series, there's, where Mr. Freeze goes and visits Nora's gravestone and makes it snow, and Batman just kind of walks away with him. And I've talked at length on this podcast about all the reasons why Mr. Freeze is my favorite Batman villain, but it just but it goes into that, like, again, like, Batman sees a lot of himself in Mr. Freeze, I think, and I think there's a reason why he always calls him Victor. Yeah, I think he's got a weird amount of respect for him in a way, and sympathy for him. So it's just, that it's one of those things that always makes me go back to, like, there's a reason that Christmas makes us think of Mr. Freeze, and it's not just the obvious snow and ice themed stuff. Like, there's a reason why people are thinking that Mr. Freeze is an easy pick for the next villain in the Batman because of the time. We'll see. But so, there's a lot to be said about the ties between Batman and DC and Christmas. I think a lot of people don't realize, and I'm sure we're even missing some here, but guys, it's a podcast. We got places to be, and we're pre-recording this the week of Thanksgiving. So, like,
No, it's the stuff we have that is really kind of holiday centric is amazing. These episodes we've discussed, they are, as much as there is action in the holiday nights, our favorite part is the end. As much as there's battles and comfort and joy, the just seeing the human side of these characters. And then with the Joker,
the Kents have to use lead-lined wrapping paper because he keeps x-raying his presents is just the best thing ever. Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, is like holidays can humanize us, even superhero characters or villains, as you can see. So no, I think it's cool. And then of course, like I'll mention it real quick. I mean, we had a fun talk about it last year, but is Merry Little Batman going to be part of our rotation for Christmas? I mean, it
is for possible. Me. That movie, like we weren't on YouTube when we covered it last year. So like if we had been, we might have reacted to it. We still might. It's up there. 100 subscribers, guys. It's 100 subscribers. That's the gets to 100 subscribers. That's the thing. I was gonna try and hold out on this as long as I could in the Christmas special, but guys, come on. Like, but like, yeah, like I didn't bring it up just because we did a whole episode on it. But yeah, like Merry Little Batman is, again, talk about ways to make me not hate Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
If
you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's free on Amazon Prime.
And it's gonna be available on physical release, I think, soon.
Oh,
I think it's coming out on a physical release. I know they are putting out a comic run.
Yeah.
About like a continuation, which I mean, I don't know when I don't think it comes out till next month.
Yeah.
If it pops up at the store, I mean,
check it out. We'll talk
about
it out.
We'll talk about it. But
it comes out this month. It comes out this.
I'm sorry. It comes out this month. It's already come out. We've already read it. I mean, I don't know. We don't know. We're God. Time is an illusion.
But it's a pair of ducks. It's a pair of ducks.
It's just everything. We're just sitting on the back of a turtle floating through space.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Like, look. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Yes.
Hopefully, we've been saying it all year, but it's never been a better time to be a DC fan. And, right now when this is dropping, we're in the middle of Creature Commandos. When we're recording this, we haven't seen it yet. We're hoping we're loving it. We're hoping you guys are loving it. We're hoping we are well on our way to a bright and fruitful DCU. I hope I'm not eating so much crow right now, but it's kind of been the year of that for us. But it's been a great year to be a proud DC fan. And, as we wrap up for it's their last show of the year. So, we'll see you guys again in 2025, but like, I'm so ready to like be an outspokenly proud. It's such a weird thing to feel pride of. Like there are so many people out there who have far more things to be prideful about than this. But like, when you consider just like the shitstorm that we as DC fans have had to go through in the last few years, it feels good at the Christmas season. I'll debatably my favorite season of the year. It feels good at Christmas time to also be proud to be a DC fan again. I look forward to getting more DC stuff for Christmas in the future because DC is just going to keep going.
Yes, I think so. No, it's look, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Be safe, enjoy family, even though they're annoying sometimes, and just next year is onward and upward, and we're gonna have a blast.
We're here with you guys. Have fun with us, hang out with us, celebrate Batman, DC, comic books, nerddom, all that stuff. As we go into the new year, follow us on all the social medias at WATB Pod. Find me on social media at Mr. Mike Shea,
and find me on Twitter at Mr. J Ninja,
and elsewhere at other names. Guys, once again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, whatever it is for you, and we'll see you again in 2025 here on We Are the Batman. Same bat time, same bat podcast channel.
Bye bye.